beloved child, I'm speaking to you in a way I have never spoken before. Not because I am leaving you, but because you are standing at a moment that will never come again in the same form. There are words I have carried quietly while you were busy surviving, and now they must be released. Listen with your heart, not your fear. This is not ordinary. This is not familiar. This is not safe in the way you are used to. This is sacred. You have wondered why things feel heavier lately, why silence feels louder, why even the things that once comforted you no longer do. You thought you were losing something. You were not. You were being prepared. I was teaching you how to hear me without the noise, how to stand without leaning on what used to hold you up. I allowed certain supports to fall away because you were ready to walk with strength, not dependence. There are truths I cannot whisper anymore. You are no longer a child who needs constant reassurance. You are becoming someone who carries responsibility, weight, and authority. That is why this moment feels intense. That is why your spirit feels alert even when your body is tired. I am not here to soothe you into sleep. I am here to wake you up. You think this might be the last time you hear me because something inside you knows change is close. And you are right. After this, you will not be able to pretend you didn't know. After this, excuses will sound hollow to your own ears. After this, the comfort of delay will no longer feel comfortable. This is not pressure. This is clarity. I see the questions you don't ask out loud. Am I running out of time? Did I miss something important? What if I fail again? Listen to me closely now. Time is not your enemy. Fear is. And I am removing it layer by layer. Not by taking challenges away, but by revealing who you are becoming through them. There is a door in front of you that did not exist before. It appeared because you endured what you thought would break you. Most people never reach this place because they turn back when things stop making sense. You stayed. Even when you complained. Even when you doubted. You stayed. That matters more than you know. Do not rush past this moment. There is weight in these words. Let them settle. Let them disturb you in the right way. I am not asking you to do more. I'm asking you to see more. To recognize that your life is not stalling. It is aligning. Before this moment passes, I need you to understand something deeply. I am not going silent. I am changing the way you hear me. After this, my voice will come through conviction, through courage, through decisions you once avoided. That is why this feels final. It is not an ending. It is a crossing. Stay here with me just a little longer. What is coming next will only make sense if you don't turn away now. You felt it when you woke up and couldn't explain why your chest felt tight, not from fear, but from awareness. Something in you has already shifted since you listened last time. You may not have words for it yet, but your spirit knows this is no longer a season of drifting. This is a season of decision, and I am standing closer than you think. I know you are trying to measure yourself by old standards. You look at your past and ask if it qualifies you or disqualifies you. You replay moments you wish you could edit, conversations you wish you handled differently, years you think slipped through your fingers. But listen to me carefully now. I do not speak to who you were. I speak to who you are becoming. And that person is stronger than the one you keep remembering. There are things I allowed to close without explanation. Not to punish you. Not to confuse you. But to protect what was growing inside you. Some doors were loud when they shut because they needed to be final. If they had stayed half open, you would have kept bleeding energy into places that could never hold your future. I closed them because you were ready to stop negotiating with what no longer fit. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right on the edge of alignment, and that edge feels uncomfortable because it demands honesty. This is where I ask you to stop lying to yourself about what you want and what you fear. You already know the truth. You just haven't trusted yourself enough to admit it. You keep waiting for a sign that feels dramatic, something undeniable, something that forces your hand. But the real sign is this quiet urgency inside you that refuses to go away. The pull toward more meaning. The dissatisfaction with surface-level living. The sense that you were made for impact, not just survival. That is me. Not shouting, not rushing you, but pressing gently and consistently. I need you to understand this. If this were truly the last time you listened to me in this way, it would not be because I stopped speaking. It would be because you finally learned how to walk without needing constant reminders. Parents don't repeat instructions forever. There comes a moment when trust replaces repetition. You are approaching that moment. Soon, your life will begin to answer the questions you keep asking in prayer. Not with explanations, but with opportunities. And opportunities require courage. That is why I am strengthening you now, not comforting you endlessly. Comfort keeps you where you are. Courage moves you where you are meant to be. You have underestimated the authority I placed inside you. You thought you needed permission. You thought you needed approval. You thought you needed perfect conditions. You do not. What you need is alignment between what you know and what you do. That gap is closing. Do not rush away from this feeling. Do not distract yourself just to escape the weight of it. Let it sit with you. Let it sharpen you. Something is being entrusted to you that cannot be handed to someone who avoids depth. And as you continue listening, as you stay present instead of numbing yourself, you will realize this was never about fear of losing my voice. It was about learning to carry it within you. There is a moment when the ground beneath you feels unfamiliar, not because you are lost, but because you are no longer standing where you used to. That is where you are now. You sensed it when familiar routines stopped satisfying you, when old victories felt small, when comfort began to feel like confinement. I did not bring you here by accident. You have been asking me to show you what is next, but what you really needed was the courage to release what is now behind you. I waited patiently while you held on, not because I approved of the delay, but because love does not force. Still, hear me now with clarity and tenderness. What you keep reaching back for cannot walk with you into what is coming. This is why this message feels heavy, not because it carries loss, but because it carries responsibility. You are no longer being shaped only for yourself. Your growth is beginning to affect others, even when you don't see it yet. Your obedience, your healing, your willingness to stand up again after disappointment, these things echo further than you realize. I know you are afraid of getting it wrong, afraid that if you move forward, you won't be able to undo it. But you have lived long enough circling the same questions. Staying still has cost you more than moving ever could. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for movement. Trust is not proven by feeling ready. It is proven by stepping forward while your hands are still trembling. You have mistaken silence for absence. When things went quiet, you assumed I stepped back. I did not. I was watching to see if you would choose what is right without needing reassurance every step of the way. And you did more often than you give yourself credit for. Even in confusion, you leaned toward truth. Even in weakness, you resisted becoming bitter. That matters. This may feel like the last time because something old is ending inside you. The need to be constantly affirmed. the habit of shrinking to keep peace, the belief that you must earn love through effort. I am dismantling those lies gently but firmly. After this, you will hear me differently, not as a voice you chase, but as a presence that steadies you from within. Do not romanticize the past. It taught you, yes, but it cannot teach you anything new now. What is ahead will demand wisdom, discernment, and restraint, qualities you have been developing quietly through hardship. You thought those seasons were wasted. They were not. They were preparation. I see the hesitation in your heart, the pause before commitment, the careful calculations. Let me remind you of something important. You were never meant to control outcomes. You were meant to choose alignment. Results are my responsibility. Faithfulness is yours. If you walk away from this moment unchanged, it will not be because nothing was offered. It will be because you chose familiarity over growth. But I know you better than that. You did not listen this far just to turn back now. Stay open. Stay honest. Stay willing. The next steps will not shout for your attention. They will require your discernment. And as you move forward, you will understand why this moment mattered, why these words carried weight, and why learning to listen this way was never meant to last forever, only long enough to prepare you to live it. Something has been forming in you quietly, almost invisibly, and now it is pressing against the surface. That pressure you feel is not confusion. It is readiness. When fruit matures, the branch can no longer ignore its weight. In the same way, your soul can no longer pretend it is still in preparation mode. You are stepping into responsibility, and that is why this feels different from every other moment before it. I need you to understand this with honesty and calm. After this season, you will not be able to say, "I didn't know." Awareness changes everything. Once light enters a room, you can't claim darkness. That is why these words feel serious. Not dramatic. Serious. I am trusting you with clarity, and clarity demands response. You have spent years asking me to change your circumstances. But what I have been changing is your capacity. If I had given you what you asked for too early, it would have overwhelmed you. If I had revealed everything at once, you would have tried to control it. So I revealed it in layers, through experience, through disappointment, through endurance. Now you are strong enough to hold what is coming without losing yourself. There will be moments ahead when you will wish you could hear me the way you used to, through obvious signs, unmistakable emotions, constant reassurance. But those moments will be replaced by something deeper, discernment. You will know what is right without needing noise. You will feel conviction without panic. You will move with peace even when outcomes are uncertain. That is maturity. That is trust fulfilled. This is why this may feel like the last time. Not because I am withdrawing, but because I am entrusting. A father does not stop loving when he steps back. He steps back because love has done its work. I am not leaving you alone. I am watching you stand. You are about to face choices that shape more than your comfort. They will shape your character, your influence, your legacy. And no, you will not get every decision perfect. But you will no longer be paralyzed by fear of imperfection. You will move with humility, courage, and responsibility, and that is enough for me to work through. Do not underestimate the quiet authority you carry now. You no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer need to explain your growth to people who benefited from your old version. Let them remember you how they choose. You are not here to preserve old images. You are here to walk in truth. If you feel emotional right now, that is not weakness. That is release. You are letting go of an old dependency, not on me, but on certainty. Faith was never meant to eliminate uncertainty. It was meant to anchor you within it. Listen carefully as I say this. Whatever comes next will require you to act before you feel fully ready. You'll not wait for perfect confidence. Confidence follows obedience, not the other way around. When you move, strength will meet you there. Hold these words close, not as something to replay endlessly, but as something to live out. This was never meant to be a moment you revisit. It was meant to be a moment you cross. And as you do, you will realize this was not the last time you heard from me. It was the last time you needed to be reminded of who you are becoming. There will come a quiet hour when no one is watching you, when no voice is guiding you step by step, and you will realize something important. You are standing on your own feet, but you are not standing alone. That realization will change the way you breathe, the way you choose, the way you face what is ahead. This is the hour I have been preparing you for. You have lived long enough responding to life instead of leading within it, reacting instead of discerning, waiting instead of moving. I allowed that season because it taught you humility. But hear me now with clarity and love. That season is closing, not with noise, not with announcements, but with resolve forming inside you. You may notice that some people no longer recognize you the way they used to. Conversations feel misaligned. Old dynamics feel awkward. That is not arrogance growing in you. That is truth taking root. When you change internally, the world around you must adjust or drift. Do not chase what naturally fades. I am not calling you to abandonment. I am calling you to alignment. You keep wondering if you are strong enough to carry what is being placed before you. Let me answer you plainly. You are not strong enough without me, but you are more than ready with me. Strength was never about having no fear. It was about choosing faith while fear still whispers. And you have been doing that more than you realize. There is a way to head that will require restraint as much as action, wisdom as much as courage. You will be tempted to explain yourself, to defend every decision, to prove your growth. Resist that urge. Silence, when guided by truth, speaks louder than justification. You do not owe everyone access to the reasons behind your obedience. I am asking you now to trust what has been built inside you. Not to rush, not to hesitate, but to move with steady intention. You will not always feel my presence emotionally. That does not mean I am distant. It means you are learning to walk by conviction, not sensation. This is where many turn back, not because the path is wrong, but because it is quiet. Because there is no applause. Because there is no immediate confirmation. But growth does not announce itself. It reveals itself over time through fruit, not noise. Pay attention to what draws your peace and what drains it. I will guide you through alignment more often by removal than by addition. What leaves your life now is making room. Do not mourn every ending. Some endings are answers you prayed for without realizing it. You are not being put into something unfamiliar without preparation. Every delay, every closed door, every moment of confusion train you to discern without panic. That is why this moment feels firm, grounded, real. You are no longer guessing blindly. You are choosing intentionally. As you move forward, there will be moments when you wish for the comfort of certainty again. When you wish I would speak as loudly as before. In those moments, remember this: I have not stopped guiding you. I have trusted you to carry what I already placed within you. Let your steps be deliberate. Let your heart remain soft. Let your obedience be quiet and unwavering. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into stewardship. And when you look back one day, you will understand why this season required maturity instead of miracles, courage instead of comfort, and trust instead of constant reassurance. You will see that this was not a goodbye. It was the moment you learned how to walk with me without needing to be carried. This is the quiet hour where resolve forms, and I am inviting you deeper, beyond listening, into partnership. What you sow here becomes oil for lamps that are still flickering, bread for souls who have not yet heard my voice. You have prayed, "Use me, Lord," and I am answering you now through generosity that flows like a river and does not hold back. When you give through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are placing seed into open ground, and I promise you, the harvest will speak louder than the seed. Scripture is alive. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I see the faith behind your hand, and I bless it with favor, protection, and increase over your household. This moment is marked. Heaven is attentive, and your obedience is weighty. Now step forward, sow boldly, and join me in reaching the hearts that are waiting. There is a stillness settling around you now, and it is not emptiness. It is focus, the kind that comes before a decisive step. You are no longer surrounded by endless options pulling you in every direction. What remains is simpler, clearer, and heavier with meaning. That is not loss. That is refinement. You have reached a place where intentions matter more than intensity, where consistency outweighs excitement, where obedience looks ordinary on the outside but powerful in the unseen. Many people never arrive here because they chase feelings instead of faithfulness. You stayed long enough to be shaped. That is why I can trust you with more. I know part of you still wonders if you misunderstood me earlier. If perhaps you imagined the urgency, the weight, the sense of finality. Let me reassure you gently, you did not misunderstand. You were sensing transition. Not the end of my voice, but the end of dependence on constant direction. This is what it feels like when trust becomes mutual. From this point forward, you will notice something subtle but profound. You will begin to recognize my guidance through alignment rather than instruction. Doors will open that match your convictions. Resistance will rise when you drift from truth. You will not need to ask as often, "Is this you?" Because your spirit will already know. This is where your character begins to lead louder than your prayers. Where what you choose in private shapes what unfolds in public. You have been trained through waiting, through disappointment, through restraint. Those were not wasted chapters. They were the pages that taught you discernment. You may be tempted to look for confirmation from people before moving forward. Be careful. Not everyone can see what you are carrying now. Some will try to interpret your growth through the lens of who you used to be. Others will resist because your obedience confronts their comfort. Love them, but do not let them define you. I'm not asking you to withdraw from the world. I am asking you to walk through it with clarity, to stop apologizing for the boundaries that protect your purpose, to stop explaining the vision I placed in you to those who are not meant to steward it. You will make mistakes ahead. That is not a threat. That is reality. But they will not undo you. You are no longer fragile in the way you once were. You know how to repent without collapsing. You know how to adjust without quitting. You know how to listen without panicking. That is growth. If this feels like a quiet goodbye to the way things used to be, let it. Grieve what is ending without clinging to it. Gratitude does not require attachment. Honor the past, but do not build a home there. Your future requires movement. Soon, you will notice that you no longer need these moments of intense reminder. Not because you don't value them, but because you are living them. My words will echo through your decisions, your restraint, your courage, your peace. That is how you will know I am still speaking. Do not rush to label what comes next. Let it unfold. Let trust lead before clarity. Let obedience come before understanding. That order matters more than you realize. And if there is one thing I want you to carry forward from all of this, it is this. You were never being prepared to lose me. You were being prepared to walk with me without fear. You are ready now. Take the step. I am watching the moment when you hesitate just before you move, and I am not disappointed. That pause is not weakness. It is reverence. It means you understand that what you are about to do carries weight. Careless people rush. Mature hearts pause, breathe, and then step forward with intention. That is what you are learning now. You are beginning to realize that faith is not loud. It does not always announce itself with emotion or urgency. Sometimes faith looks like quiet obedience when no one applauds. Sometimes it looks like restraint when you could easily react. Sometimes it looks like choosing what is right even when it costs you familiarity. This is the kind of faith that lasts. I know there is a part of you that misses how things used to feel. When guidance was obvious. When reassurance came quickly. When you felt caring more than challenged. That was a necessary season. But you cannot live there forever. Children are carried. Sons and daughters are entrusted. You are being entrusted now. What comes next in your life will not be dramatic on the surface, but it will be defining beneath it. Small choices will carry great influence. Quiet decisions will redirect entire paths. You will not always feel the significance in the moment, but you will see the fruit later. Trust that timing. I need you to let go of the idea that clarity must come before action. That belief has kept you circling instead of moving. Clarity often follows obedience. Peace follows alignment. Strength follows surrender. You have experienced this before, even if you forgot. Remember how many times you stepped forward unsure, and only understood later why it mattered. You are not being asked to leap blindly. You are being asked to walk faithfully. One step, then another. Staying present. Staying honest. Staying anchored. This is how purpose unfolds, not all at once, but through faithfulness layered over time. There will be voices that question your direction. Some will mean well. Others will project their own fears onto you. Do not let that shake you. You are not responsible for carrying everyone's understanding. You are responsible for carrying obedience. Alone is enough. I am not measuring you by speed. I am measuring you by faithfulness. By integrity when no one sees. By humility when you succeed. By patience when results delay. These are the markers of a life aligned with me. If you feel a quiet courage rising in you, honor it. Do not drown it out with overthinking. That courage is not arrogance. It is agreement. Agreement with what I have already placed inside you. You are not becoming someone else. You are finally allowing yourself to be who you were formed to be. This is why the earlier moments felt so intense. Why the words carried so much weight. They were not meant to hold you forever. They were meant to set you on your feet. To remind you of truth one last time before you began living it consistently. As you move forward, you will still hear me, but differently. In peace instead of pressure. In alignment instead of explanation. And you will recognize that voice because it will always draw you toward truth, never away from it. Do not look back wondering if you missed something. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was right. Nothing was accidental. Every step brought you here, to a place where you are steady, aware, and willing. This is not the end of listening. This is the beginning of walking. And as you do, you will discover something beautiful. You were never meant to hold on to moments like these forever. You were meant to become them. There is a calm settling into you now, and it did not come from answers. It came from acceptance. You stopped wrestling with what you cannot control, and in that release, strength found you. This is the kind of peace the world cannot give you, because it does not come from certainty. It comes from trust. And trust is no longer something you are trying to learn. It is something you are beginning to live. I see how carefully you are listening now. Not with urgency, not with desperation, but with awareness. You are no longer afraid of silence, because you understand it is not empty. Silence is where discernment grows. Noise demands reaction. Silence invites wisdom. And wisdom is what you need for what is unfolding next. There will be moments when nothing dramatic happens. No clear sign. No sudden breakthrough. Just ordinary days. Do not mistake those days for delay. Those days are where your character settles into consistency. Anyone can be faithful in a moment of intensity. It takes maturity to remain faithful when life feels simple and unremarkable. That is where real transformation proves itself. You are stepping into a phase where discipline matters more than motivation, where commitment matters more than emotion, where truth matters more than comfort. This is not heavy. It is freeing. You are no longer ruled by how you feel in the moment. You are anchored by who you know me to be. I know you sometimes wonder if you will drift without constant reminders. Let me tell you something with clarity and love. What is rooted does not drift easily. You are no longer shallow soil. You have depth now. You have weathered storms. You have endured waiting. You have learned restraint. These things anchor you more than emotion ever could. As you walk forward, you will notice that temptation changes form. It will not always come as obvious wrong. Sometimes it will come as distraction, as comfort, as familiarity trying to pull you back into smaller living. Stay alert, not anxious. Discernment does not panic. It listens, weighs, and chooses. I am not calling you to withdraw from joy. I am calling you to mature joy, the kind that is not shaken by circumstances. Laughter will still find you. Rest will still be yours. But now they will flow from alignment, not escape. You may feel moments of loneliness ahead, even while surrounded by people. That does not mean something is wrong. It means your inner world has grown, and not everyone can walk there with you. Do not resent that. Steward it. Depth often feels solitary before it feels purposeful. This is where leadership begins, even if no one gives you a title. Leadership of self. Leadership of choices. Leadership of response. You will influence without trying to. Your steadiness will speak. Your restraint will teach. Your peace will invite questions. And when it does, speak truth without force. Live it more than you explain it. If you ever wonder whether this path is worth it, look at who you are becoming. You are no longer ruled by impulse. You are no longer controlled by fear of missing out. You are no longer desperate for validation. These quiet victories matter more than visible success. I am not rushing you toward an ending. I am walking you into a way of being, one where you trust me enough to move, and trust me enough to wait. One where obedience feels natural, not forced. One where faith is no longer something you talk about, but something that shapes your daily life. You will still stumble. You will still learn. You will still grow. But you will no longer doubt whether I am with you. That question has already been answered in your spirit. Keep walking. Not because you hear me loudly now, but because you know me deeply. And that knowing will carry you further than any moment ever could. You are beginning to notice how your reactions have changed. The same situations that once stirred anxiety now meet a quieter strength within you. That is not because life became easier. That is because you did. You grew roots where there used to be questions. You learned how to stand without needing constant confirmation, and that is no small thing. There will be moments ahead when you will feel the urge to look back, not because you want the past, but because the future still feels undefined. In those moments, remember this: uncertainty is not a sign you are off course. It is often proof you are finally moving beyond what was predictable. Faith was never meant to give you a map. It was meant to teach you how to walk with confidence even when the road unfolds one step at a time. I know you still carry concerns about responsibility, about what happens if you misstep, about who might be affected by your choices. That awareness is not fear, it is stewardship. Reckless hearts do not ask these questions. Mature ones do. And I am guiding you not to shrink under responsibility, but to carry it with humility and courage. What you are learning now is how to live from conviction instead of pressure. Pressure demands immediate results. Conviction allows patience. Pressure exhausts. Conviction sustains. You are stepping into a rhythm that can last, not just impress. That rhythm will protect you when expectations rise and opinions grow louder. You may notice that fewer people understand you the deeper you go. That is not a failure. Depth is not meant to be crowded. But do not let that harden you. Remain gentle. Remain teachable. Strength and softness are not opposites. They are partners when guided by truth. I am shaping your discernment so that you recognize when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence is not avoidance when it is chosen with wisdom. There are things you no longer need to explain, defend, or announce. Let your consistency speak. Let your integrity answer questions before they are asked. You are also learning something important about waiting. Waiting is no longer passive for you. It is active trust. It is choosing to prepare instead of panic, to remain faithful instead of frustrated, to keep your heart aligned even when outcomes are delayed. This kind of waiting does not weaken you. It strengthens your foundation. Do not be surprised if opportunities appear quietly. Not all purpose arrives with excitement. Some arrives disguised as responsibility, routine, or service. Pay attention to what draws out your best character, not just your strongest emotions. Purpose often reveals itself through faithfulness in small things long before it shows itself in bigger ways. You are no longer being carried by momentum. You are being guided by wisdom. That means progress may feel slower at times, but it will be steadier. You are building something that will last beyond moods, beyond seasons, beyond applause. If you ever feel tempted to rush ahead just to feel movement, pause. Ask yourself whether you are moving from peace or from restlessness. I will always lead you through peace, even when the path is challenging. Restlessness imitates urgency but lacks direction. There is a quiet confidence forming in you now. Not the kind that needs to be seen, but the kind that steadies your steps when no one else notices. That confidence is not self-made. It is the fruit of trust exercised over time. Honor it. Protect it. Let it guide you. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are learning to move with wisdom. You are not afraid of silence anymore. You are learning to hear through it. You are not searching for signs the way you used to. You are learning to recognize alignment. And as you continue forward, you will realize that the greatest shift did not happen around you. It happened within you. You are no longer becoming ready. You are ready and learning how to live that truth, one faithful step at a time. My beloved child, now you understand why this moment mattered so much. Not because everything suddenly became clear, but because you became steady. You are no longer reaching for identity, direction, or worth. You are standing in it. And that changes how you walk into what comes next. I want you to hear this with calm certainty. Nothing ahead of you is meant to undo you. Challenges will still come, but they will not confuse you the way they once did. Decisions will still carry weight, but they will not paralyze you. You have crossed a line internally, one that cannot be uncrossed. You have tasted what it means to live from truth instead of fear. There may be days when you miss the intensity of moments like these, when you wish for words that wrap tightly around your heart again. But you will realize something beautiful. Your life has become the message. Your restraint, your integrity, your courage when it would be easier to stay silent, your peace when others expect panic. These are the places where my voice will echo through you. You are not walking into an unknown future alone. You are walking into it anchored by wisdom earned through waiting, anchored by discernment shaped through silence, anchored by faith tested through endurance. These anchors will hold you when emotions rise and certainty feels distant. Do not be surprised if others begin to lean on you without realizing why. Your presence will feel safe. Your words will carry weight, not because you strive for authority, but because authority has been formed in you quietly. Leadership born this way does not dominate. It serves. It steadies. It invites. I am not asking you to be fearless. I am asking you to be faithful. Fear may still knock, but it no longer has permission to decide for you. You have learned how to choose obedience even when answers are incomplete. That is the kind of faith that moves forward without rushing and waits without doubting. As you continue, remember this. You do not need to relive this moment to stay aligned. What you received here was not meant to be revisited again and again. It was meant to be lived. Let these words settle into action. Let them shape your responses. Let them guide your priorities. That is how truth remains alive. If at any point you feel unsure, return not to anxiety, but to alignment. Ask yourself whether your next step draws you closer to truth, humility, and love. If it does, you are walking with me. I have never required perfection from you, only willingness. You will still grow. You will still learn. You will still be refined. But you will no longer doubt whether you are being guided. That question has already been answered through the peace you now carry. Walk forward with that peace. Yardi. Jarit. Let it be evidence of my work within you. This is not an ending filled with loss. It is an ending filled with readiness. A quiet closing of one way of listening, and a powerful opening into a life that reflects what you have heard. You are not losing my voice. You are carrying it. And as you go, remember this always. I am with you in every step you take, every choice you weigh, every quiet moment when faith feels simple and real. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not behind. You are aligned. You are entrusted. You are ready. Amen. You are aligned now, and alignment carries responsibility as well as peace. I have placed fire in this message so it may travel farther than this moment, touching lives you may never meet, but I am inviting you to help carry it. You once asked, Lord, let my life matter, and this is how your obedience becomes a living echo. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. You release a flow that multiplies beyond sight, like loaves broken in my hands. My word still lives. Those who sow generously will reap generously, and I am watching over every seed you place in faith. I bless your giving as worship, and I open doors of provision, peace, and unexpected favor for you and your family. This is not pressure, it is prophecy unfolding. Give now, give freely, and let your generosity become a testimony that outlives this moment. My beloved child, if these words reached you, if this message felt like it was meant just for you, then I ask you to do something meaningful. Use the hype on this video. Not for attention, not for numbers, but as a declaration. By hyping this message, you are saying, this was not ordinary. This was a moment. Let this title, "This might be the last time you ever listen from me," be lifted, so others who are standing at the same crossing in their lives can hear what you just heard. When you like this video, you are not just clicking a button. You are honoring the weight of this moment and helping it reach hearts that are still searching. And now, before you go, I want you to engage with this moment. Go to the comments and declare something boldly. Write what you are leaving behind, or write what you are stepping into. Let your words reflect the shift this message stirred in you. This is not about conversation, it is about confirmation. When you write it, you are marking the moment you chose alignment over hesitation, faith over familiarity. If this message spoke to you in a way that felt personal, if it felt like a voice met you where you are, then stay connected. Subscribe to this channel, not for content, but for continuation. These messages are not random. They arrive when hearts are ready. By subscribing, you are saying, I choose to stay open. I choose to listen. I choose to walk forward with truth. And as you do, I will meet you again in the moments you need it most. Amen.